There's an expression that you cannot change the world. However, you can change the way you approach the world. You can change the way you look at the world. So there are certain things in life that just cannot be changed. You know, a scenario's passed. You can't then go back and change that scenario. It's happened. But the way you look at that problem, the way you look at that scenario, the way you look at that challenge, that is definitely something that is possible to be changed. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Imagine you're at work and a work colleague comes up to you and says something that you find offensive. You may spend the next 5, 10, 20 minutes burning in that anger, dwelling in that anger, maybe a day. It might ruin your whole day. You might feel like, why did they say that to me? And feel angry by it or frustrated by it, or that mood will carry with you throughout that day. However, it's very much possible for you to look at that same scenario and look at it in a very different way. Maybe they said something to you because they were having a bad day themselves. Maybe they said something to you because they were actually saying it for your good, even though you didn't want to hear it at that time. Maybe it was a manager and they were actually looking after your back for whatever reason. The point is the scenario of someone saying something to you that you found offensive, that can't change. But what can change is the way you look at it. So, sorry, the words can't change, let's just say. But whether you take offense to it, etc., that's something that is, you have the ability to change. That's within your control. There's a story that I love, that I heard. And it's a story based in ancient India. And there was a king, and he had this kingdom, and he used to suffer from migraines, really severe migraines. And they really used to debilitate him. Anyway, one day there was a wandering monk, and he was wandering through the kingdom, and he stumbled upon this, the king stumbled upon the monk, and he invited the monk to the palace and to have some food and to enjoy the royal treatment. And the monk and the king were talking, and the king explained to the monk about his migraines. It just came up in conversation. The monk said, "Oh, I've heard of this. And the cure for these migraines is to see red everywhere. If you see the color red everywhere, your migraines will be cured." Anyway, the monk carried on his journey and carried on wandering. And the king thought about this. And he's like, okay, how do I go about making sure that I see red everywhere? I know, I will make it a royal decree that everyone has to wear red clothes, everyone must paint their faces and their bodies in red color, the trees have to be painted in red, the roads have to be painted in red. In fact, everywhere I look, everything has to be painted in red. Wherever I go, the red carpets need to be rolled down, the trees, the grass, everything needs to be painted in red. Anyway, a few weeks later, the monk happens to be wandering through the kingdom again and bumps into the king. And he sees all this, everything's in red, and he's just like, what's happening here? So he goes to the king and it's just like, King, you know, why are you painting everything red? Why are everyone wearing red clothes? And the king turns around to the monk and says, I'm taking your advice. You were the one that said to me to make sure that I see only red. And the monk turns around to the king and says, well, why don't you just put on red glasses, red tinted glasses? Then everything you see around you will be red. Now, we end up doing the same thing. We have this problem or we have this scenario and we go everywhere to try and fix it. We go to people and we go to places and, you know, we try and influence this person and change that person. But in fact, really, what we need to change is the model, is the way we see the world. If we can change the way we see the world, our approach to how we're looking at that problem, it stops being a problem. It's only a problem when you see it as a problem. Otherwise, there is no problem. I know that sounds like a bit of a tongue twister, but if you think about it, something happens, you lose a pen, for example. So that's a problem. But is it really a problem? You can go and find another pen. It's not difficult. In that moment, it's like, oh no, I don't have that pen. However, ultimately, you can go and get another one. It's not difficult to do. It's your approach. If something else happens, you lose your wallet, you lose some cash, someone leaves you, etc., etc. All of these different scenarios that happen in life, they're just scenarios. They're not what you can change, but your approach to it can change it. And you can either turn it into a problem, or you can turn it into just another learning opportunity in life.